It starts quietly. Nobody notices at first. Suppose you are 7 or 8 and something about you, about that 7 or 8-year old child changed. Without anyone telling, you learn something that no child should ever learn. And that feeling is, if I don't hold this together, nobody else will. And just like that, a child disappeared. Not physically, but something inside, very, very deep, changed. You stop crying and start watching people more carefully. You learn how to read a room before you speak. You become the one who manages all the moods at home, the one who keeps the peace, the one who absorbs tensions, carries what the adults around can't carry themselves. But nobody ever stops to ask, at what cost? Isn't this a good thing that you became mature or something like that? And this is actually a invisible wound that a child grew up too fast. And it doesn't disappear when you become an adult. It follows you into every relationship, into your every close moment, every moment when someone gets really close to you, and into every room where you feel like I have to earn that thing, and in every room where you feel like you have to earn your right to exist. And if you don't understand what happened to you, you will spend your whole adulthood trying to solve those patterns, and that once kept you safe is keeping you stuck. When a child is forced to take the emotional baggages that actually belongs to the adults around them, psychologists call this parentification. You become caregiver, peacekeeper, the one who fixes everything. And doing that as a child doesn't just affect your behavior, it actually do more deep thing. That actually rewires your brain. It creates something called hypervigilance. You're always scanning. You're always preparing for something to go wrong. You learn that love has conditions, that your needs comes last. You become the child who never needs anything. And you wear that identity so well that eventually you also starts to believing in that. But deep down, something is wrong, because the child you buried didn't disappear at all. They're still in there, still waiting, still quietly waiting and asking the questions that nobody ever answered. And that is, why didn't anyone protected me? Why didn't anyone told me that it is okay not to care that? And as you grow up, that wound started to show up differently. You become hyper independent. You refuse help. You push people away, and you never feel safe even when everything is good. You feel uncomfortable receiving anything. When someone is being kind to you, inner self is like something like, no, this is going to be bad, this is going to be something in your mind, something in yourself doesn't accept any kind of help. You apologize for crying even. You mistake exhaustion for productivity. You confuse being needed with being loved. And the worst part is, you're not even realizing that this is not a survival game. This is not a survival part of your life. Because chaos is all you knew when you growing up. Stillness feels wrong. When everything is okay, you don't feel like everything is okay. Because that's the thing you never felt in your life. Your life was never okay. Peace feels suspicious. And love feels like you'll eventually have to pay back. So many people are walking through your life as a high functioning adults with a deeply neglected child that pulling the strings. You overachieve to love. You stay silent to avoid abandonment. You take care of everyone. But somewhere underneath that, all of that is, there is a version of you that just wants someone to ask, are you okay? Are you really okay? That is actually not your adult self asking. That is the child who wants to got to be the one. Healing doesn't start fixing. It starts with witnessing what you are. Because until you don't acknowledge what happened, really acknowledge it, you will keep telling yourself and others that it wasn't that bad. You will think the others had it worse, that you turned out fine. But fine is a mask too. And somewhere inside you, you already know that this is a mask. The first thing you gotta do is to go back. Not to relieve it, but to say that to the child you were, you didn't deserve that. You were just a child. And you don't have to carry it anymore. To feel the grief, you never had the time to. The anger, the sadness, the weight of a childhood, too much of someone, too small. The grief is not a weakness. The grief is the proof that something in you starting to change. If you grew up too fast, know this. Your maturity was never the problem. The problem was that you had never no choice. But now you do. You can choose to rest. You can choose to ask for help. You can choose to stop managing everyone's emotions. Let them be. That is the point. Let that child come home. And now you still have a future. Best thing is you have the pen and the paper to write in. You have all the things. Don't become an adult that will child or someone need to suffer this, that what you suffered from.